Welcome to Refine with Density 1. The theme of this program is to compress a good amount of work into a relatively short amount of time with a focused drill. So we're going to be constantly refining the execution of each of these skills in the presence of fatigue, in the presence of more and more volume building up. But before we get started on this 40-20x4 protocol, again, 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest, times 4, we're gonna go ahead and prime the body. And today we're gonna focus on the shoulders. So everybody, let's go ahead and get in our tall neutral stance. Hip width, nice and tall, ribs down, chest proud, hands down at our sides, head retracted back, lengthening our crown towards the ceiling. So try to grow as tall as you possibly can. Inhale your hands up and overhead. Soften the knees just slightly and tuck the tailbone under to avoid arching your lower back. Close the ribs down towards your front of your pelvis. And we're gonna go 5 smooth, slow circles in one direction. 4, 5, and then 5 the opposite direction. Ideally, we're not moving fast, we're moving slow, we're moving controlled through that range of motion. Okay, last one. Now we're gonna take a step back with our right foot. As we take a step back with our right foot, we're gonna slide both hands forward, like you're clapping your hands at full arm's length. From here, we're gonna draw the left elbow back, and we're gonna encourage rotation. So go ahead and turn your chest open to the left. You can even look back to that left elbow to encourage your whole body to rotate. Slide that hand forward. We're gonna do 4 more on this side. Exhale, pull, and reach forward. Exhale, pull, and reach forward. 2 more. Last one. Good. We're gonna step forward with the right, step back with the left. Do the same thing here. Pull that right elbow back. Good. Slide it forward. 2, 3, 4. Last one. 5. Now we're going to step up, soften those knees, tuck the tailbone under, inhale the hands overhead. 5 nice and controlled circles. 2, 3, 4, 5. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a step back with your right foot. Hands in front. Slide your left elbow back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 5. Switch stances. Left foot back. Slide right elbow back. 1, 2. Use your breath. 3. Turn those shoulders. 4. Last one. And 5. Step forward. Soften those knees. Tuck the hips under. Inhale the hands up and overhead. Lock out those elbows. Circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step back with your right foot. Slide your hands forward. Pull your left elbow back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Switch stances. Hands forward. Pull the right elbow back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Those shoulders and your torso should feel a good amount of movement have come from them. So they're ready to work. But we're going to shift our focus as we get into the workout now from our arms to our legs. So everybody go ahead and grab your clubs and get ready for our leg driver series. Our leg driver series is going to be the first of the series of exercises. We're going to be doing 4 rounds of 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off before we move on to the next exercise. Hey, you know how we do this? I'm going to hang out with Amy here at level 1 for this first round. Everybody ready? Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so Amy's doing what we call a front leg driver. She's only reaching the clubs forward and down. Notice she's working a nice vertical orientation of her spine. Working on sitting the tailbone down, chest proud. Reaching those clubs forward and down at an angle in front of her toes. Her wrists are lining up right in front of her knees. Working on maintaining a nice, strong, neutral spine. Keep working nice and strong. Good. Now, because she's reaching forward, she's amplifying the load in the front line of her body. Working on that upright torso, letting those knees push forward, and loading those quads. Reaching through the end of the clubs while keeping those shoulders nice and strong. Time. Good work. One round down. We're gonna go ahead and come to pick on Tori next. We got 10 seconds. Make sure you shake it out. If anything's tight, your legs are tight, go ahead and shift them around, shake them out. Ready in 5 seconds. Here we go, team. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. Tori has now a counterbalancing point for his leg driver. He's reaching down and forward, then down and back. You notice he has really long limbs. He's a tall guy. So if I want him to work harder, I could just force him to go a little bit lower, reach a little bit lower. Good. And as he goes lower, he's still working on a more upright torso. His hands, his wrists are reaching right to the front of his kneecaps at the front position, reaching right in line with his spine in the back position. 25 seconds in, keep it going. Focusing on a nice rhythmic breath. Down, down, exhale, exhale, down, down, exhale, exhale. Maintaining that rhythm, maintaining that tempo. Time for the entire work set. All right, Tori, good work. Now, Katie's got level 3 going on here. She's gonna be stepping it up. We're actually working in a staggered stance, so a kickstand-like position. So one leg is actually gonna be working quite a bit harder than the other leg as we go through this round. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. So now we see Katie's left leg is in this kickstand-like configuration. The left heel's up. So she's not getting a lot of stability from that left leg. It's there for balance. So this right leg, that right leg's working. Can you feel that right leg working, Katie? Yeah, she's smiling. She got the tongue out. That means she's ready to do some work. She is working hard. 20 seconds down, 20 seconds to go. Now, the easy thing for her would be to just let the butt lift up and back, but she's fighting to be upright. She's letting those knees push. She's loading those hips, loading those quads. 10 seconds to go. You're almost there. Come on. Down, down, touch, touch, reach, reach. Almost there. Last rep coming up. Time. Okay. Hey, now we know what everybody's doing. You got to stay within your abilities. Are you at level 1, level 2, or level 3? Whatever you're working, work what you got. Here we go. 10 seconds, team. Shake it out. Whatever's tight. Here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. Visualize yourself doing it perfect. 3, 2, 1, and go. Go, Amy, go. Nice. See, look at that depth. She's working even more upright as she's warmed up. We talked about refine with density. This is refine with density 1. As she gets more fatigued, as she works through the tension, she's actually working on doing the drills better, not worse. Same thing with Tori. Look, this nice rhythm, this nice tempo. This is about rhythm and timing, loading and finding balance, even though the displacement of load is changing dynamically from front to back. All right, Katie, drop that booty, drop that booty. Come on, down, down, down. We're almost there. I'm gonna stay with you these last 5 seconds, Katie, you got it. Down, down. Use those legs, and time. Okay, team, go ahead and put your clubs down, shake out your hands. You at home, if you've been holding on to those clubs the whole time, your hands can get really tight. They can get really tired, so don't be afraid to put the clubs down right away, shake out your hands, even consider stretching out your wrists. So take your fingers together, put your palms together, bring your elbows out, and just get a little bit of circulation in those hands. From now, we're gonna give those hands another break. We're gonna get down on the ground for our spinal roll series. The goal from here is gonna be a seated posture. Then we're gonna close down the front line and learn to use our breath to mobilize our ribs and you really get a great abdominal contraction. All right, everybody, here we go. Get set up for the spinal roll series. All right, level 1, I'm gonna hang out with Amy again for this first round. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and work. Okay, so what Amy's doing is she's tucking her pelvis under. She's rolling to the upper part of her bottom. As she does that, she's gonna allow a counterbalance. She's flexing her spine forward, keeping her chest proud. So notice that her shoulders aren't bunching up by her ears. She's taking the time to reset in the tall posture, resetting here. She's taking a really deep breath in. Good, so try to find breath on the bottom, only through your ribs. So working the back side of her ribs, good. She's not necessarily letting the breath just expand her belly or expand her ribs or get her neck to load up. She's actually loading up her low back, opening up those ribs with the breath. Time. Good work, Amy. Really nice, really nice. This is a skill that's gonna take some time and practice to utilize your breath to mobilize these posterior ribs, the backside of your rib cage. But I promise it'll help you breathe deeper, breathe better, and be more relaxed day in and day out. Ready in 3, 2, 1, go. Level 2, Tori, we're just talking about depth. So the concept is the same, but instead of just the top of his bottom, he's working in the transition between the top of his butt and his lower back. This is actually a much bigger commitment of energy back, but he still has a good handful of ham here, right? Those hamstrings pulling right behind the knees are his anchor point. Shoulders down away from his ears, breathing deeply into that back position. We're gonna go ahead and try to keep the chest down, close off the belly, and force the breath to now find home, find range, find breath, find ability to expand the back side of his body. So notice, not a lot of movement on the front here, deep in the back. Time, good work, good work. And as we talked about increasing range from level 1 to level 2, we're gonna be doing the same thing here at level 3 with Katie. Level 3 is not going to the transition between butt and low back, but the low back to the mid back, getting more surface area down. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. So she's gonna grab a little bit lower on her hamstrings so she can lean back a little bit further. Notice her neck is still nice and long. She's not crunched down and closing off the ability to breathe. She's finding a nice amount of tension on the front of her body to not only hold her body in this position where she actually has to use contractile strength to hold her shoulders off the ground, but she's using that tension to block her breath from filling her belly and using it to fill the backside of her body, pushing her rib cage, pushing the back into the ground with each breath. 5 seconds, doing good, Katie. Making it look easy. And time. All right, that's 3 rounds down. We got 1 round to go. 1 round where we get to watch everybody give their best effort because they've been refining their skill, refining through density, refining with density. 10 seconds, everybody get set. Best round yet, coming up here. Best round right now. Ready in 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful, good, blocking off that front line. See, Amy's been refining her breath, finding breath in the back, opening up those ribs, and blocking the front of the abdomen from expanding as she takes deeper and deeper breaths. I can hear Tori breathing over here, that nice deep breath. Breath in, up at the top, exhale and transition. Big deep breath. Notice the belly's not lifting up, but he's still finding room to breathe deeper and deeper with every rep. All right, Katie, I know she's working in a higher tension field, so she has to find ways to find deeper and deeper breath. So big inhale. Oh, that's a big breath in, big breath out as she transitions through. Time. All right, good work, everybody. If you are doing that with the intention that we were talking about, then you should probably feel some deep abdominal contractions working. And you might even feel the rib cage working and expanding laterally and back. From that seated position, we're gonna stand up. Everybody go ahead and find a nice tall standing position with clubs for our mill series. And our mill series is essentially gonna work 2 hands in this lateral pullover at the basic level. Let's go ahead and watch Amy masterfully execute this drill. Here we go, team. Ready for mills in 3, 2, 1, and go. So as we're working the mill series, we're building the progressive skills necessary to do a relatively advanced club skill. Right here, we're working on posture. So notice this proud chest configuration that Amy's in. Elbows are pulled down, club's a little bit lower. Good, so we want this nice right angle at the elbow. She's working on keeping her chest open, driving the club down her same side shoulder blade, and driving that forearm nice and horizontal at the top position, driving the elbow up and out. This is gonna actually encourage the shoulders to open up in external rotation. It's gonna demand a lot at first, so take your time. And time, good work. Round 1 down, we're gonna move from Amy to Tori where we add a little bit of a rotational element, changing the direction of those pulls from outside to inside and back. All right, everybody, here we go. Ready in 5. Get set. 3, 2, 1, and go. So Tori's gonna find that back position, drive the elbows out, and then pull out to the side. Elbows out to the side, pull the elbows forward, and pull forward. So this is this nice rotation of those arms, pulling those hands down every time to the same height as the elbows and driving the elbows down, whether they're on the inside, forward, or on the outside. Don't just think with the clubs, think with your elbows. Try to pull your elbows away from your ears. So down, pull those elbows down even further, prouden the chest even more. 10 seconds to go. Get a little bit more out of every rep from here forward. Come on, 5 seconds, pull those elbows down. And time. Good work, everybody. Here we go. 2nd round down, Third round's coming up. And now you fancy, huh? All right, we got something fancy for you here. We're gonna take what we built up with Tori and we're gonna coordinate one arm at a time through a bigger rotational arc. Okay, ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. So look at that elbow point, out, across the body and pull. And now it's gonna retrace that same path back out to stabilize before we go to the opposite arm. So take note, where Tori was pointing the elbows out to forward and back out, Katie actually has to rotate the elbow from out, as we see here, all the way across forward and point it across her body, across her nose to pull the elbow down and pull the club through that arc. As we hit those bottom positions, she's still pulling both elbows down, powdering her chest before she returns back to the starting position. Drawing those elbows down away from the ears, drawing the elbows down away from your clavicle, opening it up. Time. That's 3 rounds down. We have 1 more round to go. The shoulders should start feeling pretty lively if they haven't already. Last round is the best round here for our team and you at home. Every rep better than the one before, refining with density. Here we go, ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. Good, Amy. Really good intention Amy did. As she was starting to set for the pullover, she actually got taller, and that's what we want. She's gonna fight to press her top of her head up as she pulls those elbows down, hands in line with her hips. Good, Tori, here you go. Pulling those elbows down away from your ears, pulling down to those hips in the front position, pulling out and down to the side positions. Really good work. Look at those elbows start to glide around that arc. Now, Katie's made it look easy this whole time. She's focused, though. There's a lot of intention behind executing this well, not just flinging the clubs around. Time. That's 4 rounds down. Everybody go ahead and put your clubs down. Shake out your hands. Move your wrists around. Make sure there's some good blood flow in those tissues that are tight and maybe getting a little stiff, even though we're only using light clubs. We're going to be moving on to the next series. This is a ground-based series. This is the bridge. We're going to really learn how to use the hips and the abdomen to stabilize our spine by using both forces, pulling the abdomen in, driving the hips up, and making sure we're not overcommitting and arching our back as we go through this bridge series. Everybody set up for your bridge. All right, you know what's up. Level 1, Amy, I'm here with you. You're gonna get those shoulders down, bring those heels closer to your hips, and spread your feet heels out. Make sure your toes aren't pointing out. Drive the outside edges of your heels into the ground as we set up in 3, 2, 1, and go. Amy's doing a great job. The key here is this. In conventional bridging, most people think of just driving their hips indiscriminately up towards the ceiling. Now, yes, we want the hips to drive, but we want to understand where the hips should stop driving. So many people, when they think with their hips, they arch their back without control. So what Amy's doing, she's driving her knees towards her toes and lengthening her spine, her neck long, shoulders away from those knees. And what that's doing is creating a nice natural block by lengthening the front line of her body. She's taking a breath in here, but closing off the front of her body, keeping her abdomen engaged through the whole process. That's stabilizing spine. Time from both directions. Good work, everybody. All right, so 1 round down. Next round, we're gonna come and do a frog variation of a bridge. Notice Tori's knees are flared out. His heels are pointing directly back towards his hips in about hip width configuration. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and drive. The range of motion here is generally going to be pretty reduced. So you're not going to be able to arch your back for the most part. You're driving the outside edges of your feet into the ground. You are going to feel your glutes fire hard in this externally rotated position. You can feel it right on the outside, right where that dimple is. So as he's doing this, he's still making sure not to overarch his lower back. If you can find room, if you're really mobile, you still want to keep those ribs down. As you drive those hips up, think about driving the knees away from the shoulders in countering position. So right knee pointing away from left shoulder, left knee driving away from right shoulder. Distance down, not just lifting the hips up. Time. Good work, Tori. All right, level 3. Now, level 3, we have a figure 4 for Katie. So she's gonna have to stabilize in a pigeon-like position with the leg open, trying to keep that knee pointing out as she drives her hips. We got 5 seconds to set. She's gonna set her outside edge of her base foot, make sure it's nice and stable and strong. Ready? And go. As she drives these hips up, she's gonna try to make sure that the hips stay relatively level and square. The key here is this leg, This leg wants to find the middle of her body. So she has to continue thinking about setting the edge. Go ahead and move that foot just out a little bit. Heel out. There we go. Nice. Even though her body wants her foot to come into center, that makes her teeter back and forth. Now what she's doing, she's setting the outside edge, using this hip, using the outside edge of that foot for stability, and using that counter to draw the knee apart outward to the opposite side. That's going to get these hips to extend just a little bit more and force this hip with the folded leg to open up a little bit too. Time. Okay, 3 rounds down. We have our 4th and final round coming up. Everybody's working on refining what they've already worked on. Here in this 4th and final round, we have 10 seconds. Go ahead and slow your breathing. Think about exactly what you need to do to improve from what your previous performance was. Here we go. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Go, Amy. Driving those knees. Look at that. She's even pulling her body forward a little bit. That's okay. She's learning how to find length between the knees and the shoulders, closing off that front line, still finding a nice deep breath. But just like we did in the spinal roll series, she's using the ability for her ribs to expand laterally and backward to increase the breath volume without letting the belly lift or lifting the chest. Good. Tori, you're working those hips. I think that they are probably really near their end. This is really muscularly challenging, driving those knees out to each direction and driving those hips up. Katie, I think this side looks even better than the side before. You have been refining. Last rep coming up, and time. Good job. So that figure 4 requires lots of stability and lots of strength to keep everything gradually opening up. Hey, from the ground, we have another club exercise coming your way. This is the high hinge row series. So we're gonna have our clubs in that middle grip configuration. Middle finger right at the transition between the handle and the head of the club. Everybody go ahead and let's get standing. Grab our pair of clubs and get set up for our high hinge row series. We've been doing a lot of rows and we'll be doing a lot of rows through this first 3 weeks, but you know what? So many people do so much pushing exercises. We need to balance out by doing lots of pulling exercises. We're gonna engage that upper and mid back right now. All right, team, here we go. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, and go. We're gonna work this nice long hinge. Again, we're talking about length of the spine constantly. So hips pull up and back, chest is proud, head is pulling forward towards the front of the room as the tailbone's pulling back. As Amy's pulling those elbows up, she's not just pulling elbows up, she's pulling them slightly out. So think about like an arrow, Amy. Pull those elbows out slightly. Nice. That's going to allow her more room for her chest to stay proud as she pulls those elbows through a slightly greater range of motion. She's not thinking about pulling the clubs up so much. She's thinking about pulling her elbows up and back, up and back. Lengthen, there you go. Nice, Amy. One more rep, nice and strong. And time. Good first round out of the 4 here. And I'm going to come hang out with Tori. We're going to see what Tori's got for you. I think he's going to add a little extra. That difference between ordinary and extraordinary, we're going to see it right now. All right, here we go. Ready? In 5 seconds. Yes, it's another corny dad joke. 3, 2, 1, and go. So where we had the basic row, right, with those elbows slightly out to 45, we're adding this nice reverse fly. So this bent over reverse fly with soft elbows. It really looks like Tori might fly away with that long arm span. He's feeling that maximum impact of those 5 pounds while still protecting his shoulders by keeping a nice soft bend in the elbows. This is making everything focus on retraction and these shoulder blades pinching in towards his midline, feeling all those muscles furl in towards each other while still maintaining this really beautifully long spine in this high hinge, hips high. Time. Good work, Tori. Good work. 3rd round coming up. 3rd round coming up, and no matter how extraordinary Tori is, Katie's got his number. All right, so Katie's gonna add a 3rd pulling variation. This is gonna add rotation to that reverse fly. We're gonna get 5 seconds. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Katie's still working. Again, the hinge mechanics is a constant. We're reinforcing a strong and stable platform to pull from. In open space, we always are going to end up pulling from some type of hinge-like position. And now we're working that nice, strong rotation. On the rotation, let's go and straighten out the arms just a little bit there, okay? So nice, strong pull, reverse fly, rotate through a little bit straighter. Beautiful. She even held it there for a split second for your benefit at home. And if you're doing level 3, you will realize holding that club in that position is not the most fun thing, but guess what? It is a great re-education in your upper back. Time. All right, 3 rounds down. Last round to go. Last round means our best round. We cannot skimp. We do not rush through any repetitions here. We refine through fatigue, refining with density. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. Amy's gonna think long spine, pulling those elbows down and away from the peak of her head, elbows down and out. There you go, pull down away from those ears. Same thing here, Tori, pull away from your ears, pull out, pinching those shoulder blades together. All right, good work, good work. Nice and easy. Every rep looking exactly like the one preceding unless it gets better. It can't get worse, it can only get better. That's the rule through our training system. No one's allowed to get hurt, you're not allowed to get worse, you're only allowed to get better. Through the process, every day, in every rep, in every way, one breath, one movement, every time executed better. And time, beautiful work, team. Everybody's intention and focus, I'm really proud of. Go ahead and put your clubs down. We have one more ground-based exercise to go. And I'd like to say this is gonna be the easiest one, but we're finishing strong. We're finishing out with a bang. We worked our shoulders in our preparatory movement, our primer. We're gonna work our hips hard right now in a quadruped position. Now, what we're gonna be looking at is controlling rotation. So when we get set up, don't forget, this is gonna be a constant. Push your hands down and outward. Push your knees down and outward. Controlling your body from twisting and turning as we go through what looks like a simple drill. Don't make a simple drill easy. Let's make the simple drill hard. All right, everybody, here we go. Let's set up for the ground-based knee hip lift, okay? So this lateral knee lift is gonna be what Amy's doing. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice, we're gonna start with the left leg. Think about head back just a little bit more, Amy. There you go. So I want her to pull her head back away from the ground, lengthening through the top of the head, lengthening through the tailbone. Good, take your time. Good, drive that knee up and out. Beautiful, hold it there just for that split second. All right, so now as she's lifting the left knee out, the key focal point is she's gonna set her edges on the outside of the right side of her body. The right pinky has to push outward. The right knee pushes outward to keep the hips from turning. 10 seconds to go. Drive that knee straight out to the side. Good, not in front. Straight out, right here. Beautiful. That really is gonna make a difference. Right out to the side, time. So we wanna keep the knees in line with each other. The tendency is as we lift up, we're gonna lift the knee up towards our rib cage. We want to pull it straight out to the side, get the most out of every rep. All right, Tori. Tori's going to extend the lever here. Ready in 5 seconds. Let's go ahead and get set up. We're going to work the right side here and go. So the knee extends, lifts out, the leg extends through the heel. Beautiful work. Knee straight out to the side, drive through the heel. Take note of the line of his leg. His leg is not pointing straight out to the side, because that's not the range he owns. Now, Tori could easily do, go ahead and bring the knee straight out to the side there, Tori. Good, and then drive. Now look at what happens, the hips rotate a lot now. Now as we go from short lever to long lever, that is the danger. He wants to control his hip rotation. Make sure he stabilizes a nice strong posture through the torso, through the chest, and especially through the hips. Driving the knee out, extend the leg long. Time. Awesome, good work, everybody. Here we are at round 3, level 3. If Tori had to extend that leg and control his hips, so does Katie, but she's gonna add a little flair. Okay, we're gonna add a little leg circle at that end range, moving from forward, up, back, and down. Ready? And go. So we're gonna hang out Katie on her left side, driving that knee out, driving the right knee out through the ground, circling through. Beautiful. These people's hips want to cry, or they want to cry. Something wants to cry, and sweat is just fat crying. So I don't know, if you're sweating, that means you're probably working really well. All right, making sure that you're finding tension, finding stability through that base leg on the opposite side. Don't make it easy. Yeah, you can just turn your hips and let the knee lift, the leg lift off the ground. You're fighting to keep your hips square. Every rep, driving that knee out. Last one, extend that leg in a nice strong circle. Time. Okay, I'm gonna leave Katie alone for a second. She's tired of dealing with me. The camera's on her already. Hey, the camera's a better coach than I could ever be. If you guys want to be held accountable, film yourself as you're going through this program and show yourself what you're doing. Look and analyze. Does it look like these people? Does it look different? Last round, let's go ahead and make it best round here. 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, Amy. Nice, good, good, good. Setting that hip, setting that knee, setting that foot all on the opposite side of the body. Yeah, we're lifting the right knee, but all the work is pushing down into the left side of the body to make sure her body doesn't twist and turn unnecessarily. Same thing for Tori. Where is he pushing? He's pushing hard into the left side of his body. Look at it. I saw that tricep get more active. Maybe a little bit of presence does do some good coaching, right? He knows I'm here. He's pushing harder into that left arm. Get the most stability he can. All right, Katie, I see you working too. Good. Reset, drive, outside of the knee, outside of the hand, circle, getting better every time. Time. All right. Great work, everybody. Hey, you at home probably feel those hips working. You probably feel your shoulders. Learning how to stabilize in fatigue as the reps build, as the volume builds. That's the focus. That's the theme of Refine with Density as a program. Thank you for sticking with us. Get ready to cool it down in just a moment.